Hey everyone, it's Jess here. Just wanted to jump on and invite you all to participate in our next 10-day reset, which will be taking place on Monday, March 15th. We have run these in the past with a closed group and always gotten really great feedback, so we thought we would open it up and let you guys experience it as well. They are all around resetting and finding your balance. We know life can get busy and full on, so we run these as an opportunity for you to refocus, recenter, and fill up your cup. We look at nutrition, sleep, water intake, movement, mindset, and lots more. So if this is something that you think you might be interested in right now, head over to either our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or you can email us, send us a message, and we can share a bit more with you. Hello, and welcome to the Transformation Project, a podcast and community for women who are looking to transform into the best version of themselves, no matter where they are at. A place where you can listen, learn, and laugh along with us as we dive deep into different topics to help you live a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled life. Remember, we are all learning here together, and therefore the content and opinions of the hosts and our guests should not be taken as medical advice. Please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Transformation Project. We have a special guest today. I mean, everyone's always special, but this is an extra special guest for me today because my mom is joining us on the podcast, and we thought it would be really interesting to have her share openly how she feels about just doing a triathlon. She did the triathlon with me that I spoke about a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I made her do it. I'm sure she'll tell you all about it. So
Jessica's she's openly owning that. Welcome on, Marsha. So lovely to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
So I guess a little bit of background. So mom is, would you say you're retired or semi-retired now?
I'm officially retired.
Okay, so mom is retired. She's got 4 kids. She's been very active, but she would not call herself an athlete. No. And probably around Christmas time when we knew she was coming out, I said, you should do this triathlon with me. And at first I think she laughed.
Oh, I laughed.
And then I just kept talking about it. And I think then she realized she was probably roped in. So I guess take us back when I suggested it. What were your thoughts? What made you say yes in the end?
And I just want to preface this for everyone by saying this is the first triathlon that you have ever done, right, in your life. Like you haven't done marathons before or road running or
nothing
like that
before.
Nothing.
Like not like besides like just dipping in the ocean in Florida.
Like, no, I swam as a kid. That's like nothing. So I didn't think Jess was serious. But she usually has something crazy planned for any of my visits, and I won't go into great detail about other things that she's already made me do for her birthday.
Oh, we can talk about it on here. We've kind of already spoken about it before.
Okay, so Jess's idea of a great birthday gift is, Mom, you and I are going to go do a colonic.
She's still trying to get me to do all sorts of stuff I have not agreed to yet. But
the reason I have my ears pierced, Jessica wanted hers done, so I had to have mine done. Sort of the way it works. So I mean, I knew she was serious, but I didn't really think she meant for me to really do it because she knows, I would never call myself an athlete. She has a skill that is, beyond my comprehension in terms of just naturally not being clumsy, because I am completely the opposite. So I didn't really think she was serious. I mean, I did a little bit of running in high school. I did some cross country running. But that's really been about it. And, I didn't run at all when the kids were little, other than when they ran cross country, I was always on the field with them. But I mean, that's it. I'm certainly not a swimmer, and my butt hurts if you put me on a bike. So that's not where I was, thinking she was seriously taking me. And she sent me the dates and she said, no, it's a fun one. You can even have a noodle in the pool. And I'm thinking I need a life jacket and a canoe and a paddle, and that's still not going to be enough. And, I kind of forgot about it because back home we were in the middle of winter. I wasn't running. I wasn't even walking anymore because we just had so much snow. It just, I wasn't doing anything, and I landed. And just the very next day said, okay, we have 11 days. Let's do it all today and see if you can even do this. So
how many kilometers was it, Jess? Like, what was the breakdown?
Yeah, so there were a couple different options, and that's what I was trying to gauge with that first day of like, let's see how much you can do. Because yes, I did a sprint distance, but the shortest distance you could have done was 100-meter swim, a 4K bike, and a 1K run. Okay. So I made her do that the day after she landed.
Like, she literally threw me in the pool and said, this is how many laps we have to do. And I just tried to doggy paddle and not drown. And then we got out, dried ourselves off. And she said, okay, we're going to go on the bike now. And I crawled my way up the stairs and got on the bike at the gym.
Girl, you were doing great.
And then she said, okay, now we're going to run. And she put me on a treadmill. I don't think I've been on a treadmill in years. And she put me on a treadmill and we did 1K. And she goes, okay, you can do this. We're going to sign up tonight.
Well, so actually I said that was too easy. You should probably sign up for the next distance, which was just double all that. So it was a 200-meter swim, an 8K bike ride, and a 2K run. And Ben and her were kind of like, Jess, she
Calm
just got
down, Tiger.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, settle down. I'm sure she could do it, but maybe let's like let her enjoy her trip to Australia.
I wasn't wounded the last trip to Australia. I survived. I was fine. The trip before, I had 2 injuries. I rolled my ankle while we were up north celebrating Jessica's birthday, Ben's birthday, and Kinsley's first birthday. So I hobbled around that. And then we got back and Jess took us on an amazing hike, which was phenomenal.
But it was not a beginner hike.
It was not a beginner hike. And coming down, I twisted my knee quite badly. So I did my visit to Sydney, cursing Jess because I had my ankle taped up. I had my knee taped up, and I'm thinking, this is just pathetic. I look ridiculous. I'm not feeling good. So this time around, I said, I'm game. I need to challenge myself. Let's do something completely out of my comfort zone. I am terrified. I am freaking out. But I also listened to my inner voice saying, you know what, don't be stupid about this. Don't push it so far that I'm not going to enjoy this. Like, let's challenge myself, but not be ridiculous about it. So I just did what I'm calling the baby try and try. So, I mean, still incredibly challenging, but
100%. And I have to give you like massive props just for being open to the idea. I think so many women, as they get older, get less brave in pushing their bodies. And for you to have never done anything like that before and now go, okay, what the hell? Let's give it a go in 11 days. I think that's phenomenal.
Oh,
like, I really, really do.
There was nothing pretty about it. I've seen the video. I've seen what Jess has posted. There was nothing pretty about it, but I did it. I conquered a hill on a bike, which I never thought I'd be able to do. And, I was cursing it the whole way up, but I conquered the hill, and I was so proud of myself by the time I got to the run, because I made it up the hill twice. And that's really what I was just focusing on.
Yeah. And so do you think you'd do more?
Yes, I said that. I said right away, they asked me and I said, yeah, I would do another one. We looked at doing one actually before I left at the end of the month here. But it's an open water swim, and I'm being realistic. I'm not a swimmer. I don't think I have the skill set to do that kind of a distance in open water.
Right.
And as much as I would really like to, I think I need to be a little more realistic about my skill set, and it's not there, not yet. So I'm looking at doing something when I get back to Canada.
I like the not yet.
Well, there's some issues when I get back to Canada, because obviously the weather is very different, and jumping into open water at home does not mean, a comfortable 20 degrees. It'll be closer to 10.
You'll need a wetsuit.
I'll need a wetsuit. I need to look at a bike, and, there's obviously financial considerations doing something like this. So,
yeah.
So I'll see if I can find something that's, fun and still challenging. I might do, like a tough mudder is what we call them at home. They're called a tough mudder. It's all females. It's like an obstacle course. It's like usually 5 to 10K run.
No, not a tough mudder.
Not a tough mudder. Sorry.
Not the mud hero.
The mud girl. Mud girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going to say my husband's done
A tough mudder.
I don't want to lie. I feel like 12 tough mudders or something.
Oh my gosh.
Like a lot. Like he's got all the headbands, like, yeah.
No,
and he's doing another one coming up this year. First one back after COVID, he's doing it.
So there's one called
fun.
Mud Girl, which is sort of the equivalent, but not quite as crazy.
Yeah. No one's electrocuting you. I didn't like that part.
No, that's the part I don't like.
No.
I didn't like it. I've done 4. The electrocution was the worst part.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
need to do that.
No.
So no, I will do one. It has definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I didn't realize it was going to be in this great big huge stadium, and we walk in and Jessica's beaming like she's clearly in her happy place, and I want to die. A little piece of me was dying. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to hide in the corner. That is not my happy place. Like my stress level just went crazy. And then I'm watching my child who's just like in her element and she's beaming. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Okay.
Well, let's talk a bit about that. Like run us through the mindset part. I'm intrigued by that.
So, I mean, my background is theater. I taught high school theater for 30 years. And I really relied on my training as an actor, but also my training as a teacher in terms of what I used to do for my students to calm them down. Thinking about being present and in the moment is something an actor has to do or a performer has to do at all times. So I really pulled my knowledge about mindfulness in, and, Jess started before me, thank God. So I could at least kind of watch what was going on. And I removed myself from all the people in the stands, and I took my granddaughter with me, and we just kind of found a quiet spot, and we sat on the ground and she did her stretching with me and I was playing with her. But I did like a lot of breathing. I talked myself down, just, trying to take it in and say, this is an amazing moment. Be present, be in this moment, look around you, look at what's happening, look at all these incredible women, their parents, because there was also a kids triathlon happening the same day. So, just looking at the parents and how proud they were of their children and just really trying to enjoy the moment. We weren't sure when Jessica finished her race if she'd have enough time to get to me because I was in the pool. So I was a little anxious when it came time to lining up, and I was listening to the instructions, and I'm like, oh my God, now I'm by myself, because I told Ben and Kinsley and, you got to go watch mommy. You've got to go watch her cross the finish line. And then I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm here by myself. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
But I finished on time, everyone.
She finished on time.
Across the finish line. Gave my chip back, and I saw Ben, and I was like, where is she? And they're like, she's lining up for the pool. And then I sprinted to the pool.
Yep. And she grabbed me and she just held me. So, but yeah, so I mean, I was freaking out, absolutely freaking out, thinking, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? And then it was like, yeah, you made the right decision. This was good. I needed to do something to challenge myself. Because as Jess said, as you age, it is very easy just, to we become set in our ways very often because we have experienced so much, and it's almost a survival mechanism, I think, sometimes to become set in our ways, but that also means we don't grow. And I think that's very, very important as we age, to continue to challenge ourselves.
Mom finished and she said,
I don't even remember.
She said, I really hate you. But
did.
Thank you so much for making me do that. And I was just I was so proud that you did it, because do you know how many friends I've tried to drag with me to a triathlon, and everyone's like, nah, not my thing. No, that sounds hard.
Would tell you to shove right off.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Everyone did. And so I didn't really ask them if she wanted to. That's kind of why I was like, sweet, we're going to do a triathlon when you come. And probably why you didn't take me too seriously at first, but because I get nervous before a race still. and I've done a whole bunch, like, and I still get nervous. It is, of course, it's nerve wracking. It would be like every time you go on stage, like you've done it a billion times, but it's still nerve wracking.
Oh, and that's terrible, because I always say to my students when they come to me panicking, I can't do this, miss, I'm so nervous. I say, that is a good thing. If you weren't nervous, I would be freaking out and I would be upset. The fact that you're nervous means that you care, and you've attached value to this experience that you're about to have. So nervous is good.
Yeah. And I think something I tell my children is that the feeling of nerves and the feeling of excitement and butterflies is a very, very similar feeling.
Yes.
And so we try and flip it, and we call it being nervous-sided, where
Yes.
you're nervous but excited.
I like that.
And you try and, you know, flip that, because of course you're nervous, but if I feel you can really get yourself into a spiral of anxiety where you're just talking yourself, you know, right off that cliff, instead of being able to stop that spiral and taking a breath and taking a minute. And so I think it's so incredible that you were able to take that time. And I think it's a lesson for so many people out there. And I've seen it in people where they just get into that it's like a rolling stone down a hill, that they just feel they can't stop the anxiety and the stress and they can't get out of their own head to be able to enjoy the situation that they're in.
Yeah. And that's, we just kept saying, like, it's a fun race. There's no, you know, there's no gold medals there. You're doing this for yourself. Like, yes, some people would have been there trying to like beat their best time and stuff like that, but you are there to compete with yourself, and that's it. And if the goal is to finish and you walk half of the run, or you have to doggy paddle half the swim, like, so you do. If you have to get off your bike and climb it over the hill, like, so you do. Like, it's the taking the first step, and just being able to say you did it.
Yeah. It's the baby steps. You're moving forward.
Yeah. As long as you're going forward, little steps. And I think that is so important for these sorts of things, to just have a goal that is reasonable for yourself. You know what I mean? So that you kind of meet your expectations, especially the first time. I know for me, for my first Tough Mudder I did, for example, my goal was simply to finish. And I did have to walk the last part, because they have a really big ramp that you kind of have to run up to and grab the top. And I hit that thing so hard, I thought I broke a rib. And I wasn't going to tell my husband, because I wanted him to go up and finish that obstacle. And I just quietly walked around. And I hobbled over the end, and it wasn't pretty either. And I collapsed, and they had to, like, it was 6 o'clock. It was dark. They had to put those like foils over you to keep you warm. Keep you warm. And they gave me a beer, and I don't drink beer, but I drank that freaking beer. And it was just about literally just getting over the finish line and doing that thing. And I think that too is also so important, is it doesn't matter what the thing looks like. It doesn't matter if it's pretty. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. You know, perfect. Yeah. But you did it, and you've got that, and you can build on that if you choose.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. You've done it. You now know that, like, oh, I don't actually mind this. This would be fun.
I had to
fun maybe isn't the right word.
I had to kind of admit, like, as soon as they said, would you do another one? I said yes, right away.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I would definitely. This is a good challenge. This is a good goal.
Yeah. So if we had a listener out there who may be retired, maybe a little bit older, maybe has never done anything like this, what tips or tricks or advice might you give them?
Even if they're not retired, like, even if this is just something that, like, you're kind of thinking about, maybe I would do something like this, but you've never done it.
Just do it. As ridiculous as that sounds sometimes, take that baby step, challenge yourself. Change and growth only happen when you're uncomfortable. So make yourself uncomfortable, try it. What's the worst that can happen? You go, yeah, really didn't like it. And then you find something else. In terms, the retirement piece is easy, because I wasn't planning to retire. It wasn't on my radar. I was sort of getting to the point where it's like, I think maybe in the next 3 years, I need to start planning. I need to start thinking. But things had changed at the school I was teaching at. And I just hit a wall, and I honestly walked out. I walked into my principal's office. He wanted to make some radical changes. I was head of my department, so I was in charge of 9 different curriculums. And he wanted to make some changes that were directly going to affect my students and my ability to teach. And I just looked at him and said, I'm done. And I walked out, and it was not planned. So I've been in a very weird position being retired, because I'm still wrapping my head around it, unlike other people that are, a little more planned. So a lot of people are now starting to talk to me about, what's it like? What would you do differently? I'm stressed out. I don't know if I want to retire. I don't know what to do. And I think right now, what I would say is, retirement is anything you want it to be. It can happen at any time in your career. It's not something that is a 55 plus or a 65-year goal. It's whatever it is, and it's going to look however you want it to look. There is no right way to retire. Just think about, what do you want to do with this freedom that you've now gained? Because you're not expected, for me, to be in a classroom at 7:15. And if you're 5 minutes late now, it does not matter. So I am notoriously late for everything now. And everyone's on me. They're like, why are you always late? And I'm like, because I can. Because for 30 years, I had to be in that classroom early. If not, I would have 35 students in the hall screaming at me, miss, or they would just leave because I wasn't there. So your retirement, it's going to look whatever it's going to look like. It's yours. Just keep moving, do something, find something that you're passionate about that you can now do, because you have some freedom, you have this time. And I think that's what scares a lot of people, because all of a sudden we're done with whatever our career was, and it is what's next.
Yeah. And I think we've seen, just in business, which is, a slightly different analogy, but we've seen sometimes with people that the more time they have, the less they actually accomplish. And so for us, because we're doing, we have an online business, when people are working and they're fitting their business in little bits of time, we see a lot of productivity in those little bits of time. Once they're more successful and they're able to essentially step back from working full time, and they're just working for themselves on their online business at home, suddenly there's so much time and somehow they accomplish less. It's that, that analogy, like if your friends are coming over in half an hour, how quickly could you clean your house in half an hour?
Oh, how quickly can you hide the mess?
And I think it's true. It's really, you have to have some consideration as to what intrigues you. I mean, my dad was a perfect example. Everyone was like, he is going to be back at work in like 3 weeks, because he was always such a hard worker, so dedicated, super early, super late. Man, he's building bikes and super into his vintage bikes. He spends so much time doing that. He walks, I'm pretty sure 10Ks a day. He's up at 5 still, does 100 push-ups a day. He is about to turn 70. My mom plays badminton. She hasn't played badminton since she was in her early 20s. And paints. She's an incredible artist. Wasn't really before she retired. So it's like, I just find it so inspiring that, and then we see other people, because we do have a lot of clients. We are in contact with a lot of older people who find that retirement and then simply sit. They sit in front of the TV and they just sit. And I think it's so incredible that that you have found something that may be a new hobby for you, maybe a new thing, or might not. But I think it's so important for people to find, whoever you are, whenever you are in your life, to actually really think about what it is that you love, what you enjoy doing.
You have to be passionate about something.
Yeah. Because a lot of when you're working, you're just doing what you do because you have to do it. You may like it, but you're doing what you have to do because you have to do it. You're surrounded by people that you're friends with, associates with, because you have to be. They're in the same space. So you get to choose. You get to choose who you want to be with. You get to choose what you want to be. It's a whole new path and exciting bit of life. I think that's wonderful. And so I just want to say, well done.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed, super inspired by you. I can't wait to see the next thing that your daughter ropes you into.
That's
Yeah, what are we gonna do next year?
it.
Anyone?
She's gonna want to top this now. So
Yeah.
they were trying
You
to
started something.
Oh, Ben was trying to talk me into skydiving.
Oh, yeah.
And I said,
don't know about that.
absolutely not. I've already watched my daughter and Ben jump out of a plane. A parent should never, ever, ever be on the ground and watch their child jump out of a plane. He's like, well, then this way you'll be in the plane with us. You'll just jump out as well.
That was the first year she came
That
out
was
to Australia.
That was my first trip to Australia.
Oh my gosh, you guys, what you do to these people that love you.
So if anyone has any suggestions what I should make mom do next year, feel free to message us. I'd love to hear some ideas.
That's the challenge. Please message us what you would like us to get Marsha to do next year.
That's exactly what it's going to be. So I have to come back every season or every year now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there'll be a new challenge for me every year.
Yeah, very excited. I'll have a think now. I have a year to decide on something, so that will be extra. I'll give you a bit more warning this time. I'll give you a bit more than 11 days.
And you know what? I think the 11 days, it ended up being 10 days in the end. I think that was actually probably the best because I didn't have time to talk myself out of it. I didn't have time to say I can't do it. It was a matter of, no, you only have 10 days. Let's go. Let's get into a pool. Let's get onto a bike. Let's do a little bit of running. Let's do a little bit every day. So I really was just focused on, I can't drown. Let's go.
Okay, so I won't give you notice. Never mind. Forget that part. I won't give you any notice. Perfect.
You're going to be driving out somewhere and suddenly they're going to go, look, we're at an airfield.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Let's go. We're skydiving today.
We're out. Give me the keys.
Okay, we won't do that. Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with us. I know this is very different. Another thing, probably a bit outside your comfort zone.
Completely.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Love it.
Pushing it.
And just thank you for sharing the message, sharing the inspiration. I think it's good for people to listen that like people are doing it. People are taking baby steps.
Yep.
Like you can talk yourself out of those anxious thoughts and it's just being in the moment. I really like that, being present. So thank you for sharing that. Loved having you on. Thank everyone for listening. We will talk to everyone soon. Don't forget, you can always email us if you have anything you'd like us to talk about or discuss. And you can find us on all the channels and send us a review and feedback. And we'd love to hear from you guys. Have a lovely day and we'll talk to everyone soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening in to this episode of The Transformation Project. The Transformation Project is not just a podcast. We're also a community. We're a collective of like-minded people all around the world seeking to live their best life and raise each other up. We're looking to support you, set goals, get healthier, connect with yourself and others at a deeper level, and better understand yourself and the world around you. We're always looking to link arms with like-minded people wanting to create more out of life. You can connect with us via our website, which is www.thetransformationproject.net.au. Email us at support@thetransformationproject.net.au. Or simply listen in to one of our podcast episodes, which can be found on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can even watch some of our episodes on our YouTube channel, simply called The Transformation Project. Please like and subscribe to make sure you hear all the incredible shows and guests we have lined up. If you have any feedback or any comment, we would love to hear those, as well as any ideas or guests that you think we should be interviewing in future. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Transformation Project.